Hello Pisces, welcome to your February forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. As always, this forecast can help you navigate through the next 6 to 8 weeks. You can use it for Sun, Rising Moon, and Venus, and it's great to see you, by the way. I like to begin all of my readings with mediumship and channeled messages, and today the main thing that I was picking up on, particularly in dreams, was integration, if I had to pick one word. And the two core pieces that wanted to integrate were the empathetic self, which I also connect with the inner child, and then the sort of warrior self, which we could probably connect with like the strength card. And what I saw was both of them longing to have qualities of the other half. And some of you may be actually compartmentalizing and splitting yourself into other pieces for other people, because we oftentimes have to sort of like change, the facade or the mask. And this month it's about letting go of all of that and just being authentic and working on integration. So the inner warrior wanted to be more empathetic, and the inner empath needed to stand up for themselves. I picked the King of Cups because he represents the blending of leadership and empathy too. So strength and empathy, I would pick this card. It's kind of the perfect medium here. When you combine these qualities, not only are you happier and more successful, but it's a more sustainable path. So the main takeaway here is you have to focus on doing what you need to take care of yourself. And it's okay to not make everybody happy at the end of the day. Integrating, being authentic, and not feeling like you're split in all of these different pieces, figuratively speaking, is going to be really, really important. That inner child did need some healing as well. The next card that came to mind, especially because we were looking at this sort of wounded warrior, would be the Nine of Wands. Know this, you're still standing and you're standing strong. The perseverance that you have shown, and for many of you, the strength that you've built through the challenge, through the experiences that you've been through, is going to make you even better in the future at reaching across the line and saying, I understand, let's make this work. You have context, you have compassion, and you also have the ability to overcome any sort of roadblock that may come across your path. So, to summarize, this is a time to integrate, to combine both empathy and leadership, and to push to the finish line with this new sense of clarity, compassion, and integration. Let's look at the cards and see how all of this comes into focus and what is in store for the month ahead. Just a quick reminder, this can be used for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus, and we'll go a little deeper into Sun, Rising, and Moon towards the end of this reading, so I do hope you stick around. Let me focus right now, Pisces, on the cards to see what the messages are for this period of time. For some of you, I can already see like resistance to a necessary change, but let me go ahead and get all of the cards pulled, and then we'll kind of dig into the specifics. All right, let's begin here with the Catalyst card first and foremost. I love this. It really ties together the Devil and Death cards, because when we think of resin or amber, what happens if you think of like the old Jurassic Park movie, sometimes that can trap something or someone in their tracks. And so for many of you, this is a chance to see where the stagnation is and say, I don't choose to stick around. I'm going to move beyond this, and maybe even see that sort of sticky situation before getting into it, because usually the universe gives us some signs and signals. But if you find yourself in the throes of this, it's time to find a new path. And in fact, we can even see the answer here in the Destiny card. So these two cards work very nicely together. This is what you need to focus on releasing, the resin or being stuck energy, and lo and behold, it may not be here or here. There might be something in a different direction, or it might require you thinking outside of the box because we have adjacent possibilities. So expand your horizon, expand your thoughts beyond what you think is possible. And when you start to open up, then all of these new things might come knocking. And it could be a lot easier to get to the finish line than you originally thought. When we pull all of this together, we can see that the devil energy, which is representing self here in this spread, you, it's reversed. So it's saying you're starting to regain power. You're starting to see that something doesn't serve your highest interest. And you start to embrace that change can be both swift, because we have the Page of Swords here. Next one is the Knight, so things are taking off in the right direction. So change can be swift and probably for the better, because whatever you have been doing, it may just not have allowed for the growth, the movement, the freedom that you desired. Let's get into this center card. We have Death at the center. Again, I feel like sometimes if the illustrations were different than what we see in the traditional, whether it's Rider-Waite-Smith or this one, this card could be embraced more, because there are two sides to it. One is the ending, which is typically depicted here, but it also opens up beginnings. So if we were to put a butterfly chrysalis on here, that represents the end of the caterpillar stage. And if you show the butterfly starting to ease out of the chrysalis, it's basically freedom. Sometimes something has to leave our lives in order for us to really be able to see what's possible. So it could be a relationship coming to a close, a job coming to a close, or a necessary graduation that we have in our life from school, retirement, marriage or divorce. Any of these big pivotal things can represent death, because death is the end of one thing and the beginning of something new. That's all it means. So I want to destigmatize the card just a little bit, especially when it's crossed by the Page of Swords. What this is saying is one word can change your future. One action can bring you in a new direction. One thing of that nature can actually get you unstuck. So simply by speaking up and saying, I really want to try that, if you're in a job, or in a relationship, if you feel it's not going anywhere, if you want to see where it's going, you could say, I really believe in this. Are you in? You know, like just starting that conversation about positive forward trajectory and motion. You've got to use your throat chakra and you've got to use your words this month, okay? You have the power through communication to affect change. You are in the driver's seat because we have the Chariot, but the universe wants to know what do you want? Where are you at? The Seven of Cups in reverse is a decisive card. This is exploring the options. She's looking at all those different cups thinking, which one? When it's reversed, she's like, all right, I know which one. What am I going to do about it? It's a different state. So there are two things happening with this. One, we see a horse without a rider here. Now we see a rider that's picking a direction, and that direction is based on a decision. And this decision overall is actually going to start to bring in new resources and new opportunities. The Knight of Pentacles is also encouraging you to get a handle on all things related to time, energy, and money. Really ask yourself, does this work for me? Am I getting a return on the energy here? Do I believe in it? All of those things matter. And also, if you need something, ask. What I like about Knights is they're willing to advocate, fight, communicate for whatever is necessary, and people typically listen. So this is a month to move the needle forward and really see some progress in your finances. If you typically delegate and have someone else take care of it, one thing that I'd like to encourage you to do this month is to make sure that maybe you take a more hands-on approach, or at the very least you ask some questions and understand the other person's decision-making process, whether that's your accountant, your partner, or again, you're just trying to get some information on this. Don't be afraid to ask. and don't be afraid to roll up your sleeves. You're going to feel more confident and comfortable at the end of the day, knowing how your money is being spent, where you have flexibility, and really your financial freedom is just freedom to grow. And for many of you, you are starting to get unstuck in that area as well. As we take a look at your crowning card, we have the Ace of Swords. This is you following through, taking some action on one of your ideas, one of your dreams, one of your endeavors. This is also some back and forth that might be going on between you and another party. The page is listening and communicating. The other party may be coming through in a written form, either text, email, or perhaps even an old-fashioned letter. And this is your opportunity to read, to revise, and to take action. In general, aces represent possibilities and potential, but they do require nurturing, follow-through, and again, communication. So just keep that sort of ball rolling in the right direction. Never underestimate your ability to create action through your own words or writing. You have this great communicative ability this month, so lean into it. There's something that you may even take for granted here, because when we see the Ten of Cups here in the near future, this is one of those magnetic cards that means that you're basically on a lot of different people's radar. I'm going to pull the traditional card and we'll compare these two. In the Rider-Waite-Smith version of the card, you can see that this represents love, community, family, people that you're really, really close to. When this card is in reverse, what can be happening here is that all the people that care the most about you could be calling you, trying to get you on their calendar. This can also, though, represent success in the realm of your career or just your personal development, and suddenly your dance card is full. You've worked really hard to get to this moment. In this one, we can see all of these steps to get to this playful, joyful energy at the very top of this. So one piece of advice that's coming through loud and clear from Spirit is take a moment to enjoy where you're at. And if there is a cause to celebrate, because the Ten of Cups can definitely be that, enjoy it, celebrate it, and don't second guess what Spirit's providing for you. Now, if you're feeling overwhelmed by all of this sort of stuff that's going on, you can always push back a little bit and say, I would love to meet. How about next week? You just need to manage your schedule a bit. This shows a very full dance card or a lot of pressure from others. You've got to take care of you, take care of yourself. That was one thing that absolutely came through in Spirit. But this is still a very good card. It's just about having boundaries, limits, and guess what? You're going to communicate them very clearly this month. And the Page of Swords in Death, that's simply saying no to someone in the same way that Justice reverse would be. This could also be for some of you saying you quit, or it could be a divorce, or it could be an end of a contract that is unfair or doesn't serve you or suit you, and that kind of leads us into the Devil energy, which is next. So all of the things that are coming through this month are helping you get past this. The Devil makes you feel like you're stuck, that you're in the resin, but the truth is you're not. A lot of this has to do with simply speaking up, or speaking your truth, or asking a question, or revising something that doesn't feel right or sound right, and sometimes just saying, no, this doesn't work for me, or fighting for the right to kind of push back on something that may not even be completely legal or moral or correct in a different way. So you're overcoming this and you're seeing through the restrictive and not necessarily completely honest or transparent energy of the Devil, okay? So this month, don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to push back. Never underestimate your communication skills. With all of the cards that are coming through in Swords, and you're one of the few signs this month that has a ton of Swords cards. Even though you're water, it feels like your ability to communicate with passion, with ease, is where you're going to succeed. And again, it's kind of setting you head and shoulders above many other signs this month. So whenever that happens, lean into it. You have a chance to really make a splash. And one of the areas that you can make a splash in is getting out of situations that don't feel right to you. You're not stuck. It just requires movement and communication, okay? In the environment is you, the Queen of Cups. So once you emerge from whatever's holding you back, then you're showing up exactly as I'd want to see you, Pisces. I chose the King, but here's the Queen. It's very similar, very comparable energy. The Queen of Cups is emerging from the water, so you may be just kind of brushing off some of the wounds, some of the difficulty of the past, and now you're getting on top of things. New love and new opportunity could be knocking this month. If and only if you're ready, and only when you're ready, should you sort of connect with that. But if you are, it could be quite exciting. Here's what, we'll get into love in just a moment, but what I see for some of you is, with the Devil card, maybe there's just not a readiness or desire to bring someone immediately into your energy, because this is slightly hermiting. The Ten of Cups in reverse, it's saying I need to pull back. This card is needing to get away from too many restrictions or even restricting thoughts. And it feels like some of you just want to spend some time on your own or by yourself, healing a little bit. I mentioned that the inner child needs some work. And so absolutely, you have the support of spirit if that's what you want to focus on. But know this, there are opportunities in love and partnership. Just make sure you get to know someone and get to know what they're looking for, because the connection of these two can represent someone that wants to get more serious more quickly, and that's perhaps maybe not what you want, or vice versa. You're looking for commitment, but someone else wants to be unattached, because the Devil reverses that desire for freedom. Or someone who isn't completely being honest. Maybe they're not completely out of a relationship. They're still in the throes of divorce or something like that. So we'll get into all of that later, but definitely for contracts, by the way, this is true for all Pisces this month. You have room to edit. You should speak up. You can say no. And if it doesn't feel right, Death is saying, not that. Let's wait for something better. And I'm all behind that. Let's take a look at hopes, fears, and opportunities. So your overall trajectory for resources is great. We have the Knight of Pentacles here and an Ace of Pentacles here. But in fears or opportunities here, we have that Four of Pentacles reversed. So typically, the Rider-Waite-Smith card would show someone holding onto a coin over their heart. In this one, we see someone protecting the resources, hiding them a little bit, and it's sort of like not completely forthcoming. So one more time, we're going to mention this. When it comes to any sort of contracts, I really want you to dig beneath the surface. And if you have questions, if you have concerns, bubble those up, level those up to the top and say, I think we need to dig a little deeper here. When it comes to payment, particularly if you're on the seller's side, so let's say you're selling a house, a car, etc., this can be someone coming in with an offer that's too low. This can also be on a compensation side, showing that someone's not getting what they deserve. In that case, it may or may not even be legal, so you'd want to bring that to someone's attention if it's just not following policies. There's room for more. To summarize, there's room for more. Make sure you're getting what you deserve. Don't accept less than that. And at the end of the day, some of you have a choice between two options. We have an Ace of Swords upright and Ace of Pentacles in reverse. As paths in front of you, these are two very different things. One of them is easy. The door is open. There's a hand that's inviting you in. The other one is going to take more time and energy. And the question this month is, how invested are you in that? If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. And when it comes to any opportunity in your life, if you have to push too much, in fact, if you have to force it to happen, this to me, typically spiritually, is not where you want to put your energy. There's a little back and forth, there's a little tug of war, but it shouldn't be all you all the time. All right, we'll leave it at that. Now, a couple of other things with the Ace of Pentacles when it's reversed. This can represent your desire to invest in yourself, because in the upright, it's money, it's opportunity, it's growth. When reversed, it's saying, I need to pull some back a little bit so that I can recharge, or maybe I'm going to take some of my time, energy, and resources and go to school, or take some time to do some self-searching, some soul-searching, so that I know what I want to do next. So I see you putting the pause button on for a moment, moving things around a little bit, and saying, I have to do this for me, some of you. If there's something lacking, this plus this, you still have wiggle room. It may take a couple of back and forths. I want to see you at the Six of Pentacles. So don't be surprised in negotiations if there's at least 2 rounds to get you to where you want to be. Again, this is especially for those that are negotiating for contracts, for those that are trying to get a better offer on something. Whichever side you're on, you might have to go back and forth a couple of times, and second or third time is a charm. Let's take a moment now and expand this to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. beginning with the energy of health. You received the fox spirit, and the caption on this one says, think on your feet. If we look at this close up, you can really see the energy in the eyes there, that wisdom, that instinct. This is what you want to lean into this month. You're going to be able to sniff out a situation like this long before it happens. We've all seen red flags in our life, whether it's on a first date, someone says something and it just sends up the alerts, or it might be a first interview with someone. I want you to really pay attention to that. And if something seems too good to be true, dig in a little bit deeper, talk to someone else, get a different perspective, and think on your feet and ask questions in real time. Let's go ahead now and shift and just look at the cards here and see what additional messages are coming through. First of all, necessary change. With the death card at the center, some of you are already in the throes of major movement. It could be marriage, by the way, because the Ten of Cups is celebratory. It's a good thing. And we see basically just the combining of two new energies here. It could also be, like I said, you deciding that you want to walk away from something. So the communication of separation, whether that's from a job or a relationship. I definitely see that, and easing into that change could take some time. There could be resistance from the other party. They don't want to let you go, right? So a boss tries to put a guilt trip on you. A partner says you can't go, or they're not going to accept, they're having trouble signing the papers or whatever. Remember what I said, 2 or 3 different attempts. It might take a couple of times before the declaration of independence here really sits with them, and then you get to kind of spread your wings. Let's see what else is going on. A close brush with death. Death can represent, again, being stuck. It can represent a health wake-up call. And for some of you, you had to have that sort of, that little bit of a scare there from a doctor or someone to say, well, I don't want that to happen again. And the good news here is it doesn't have to, because we have the devil in reverse, and that's basically saying, I'm taking control back. I'm ready now to make the change. And because of that readiness and that ownership and that integrity, then everything starts to move in the right direction. The Knight of Coins also represents a change in your what you're putting into your body, and also, again, how much you are valuing yourself. So if something is lacking, standing up and saying, this isn't enough. And then again, when it comes to making sure that I'm really getting sort of like minerals and vegetables and all of the things that we sometimes neglect in our diet, making sure that that's where it needs to be. Let's see what else. Just exercising in general is also going to help with moving everything, the blood flow, the food through the body. So I never would bring this up, but for some of you, if there's issues with regularity, this is also about exercise playing an important role in that. It's coming through, so I'll bring it up because we are looking at health. Not overdoing it when it comes to drinking. The Ten of Cups is a great card for celebration and joy, but in reverse, it can represent too much. This can also represent too much of anything. So too much sugary content, too much alcoholic content, and actually just making sure that everything is balanced. So that's something where you'll have to work with a professional, but I am picking up on that as one potential thing. Overcoming addiction, overcoming anything where you feel like you don't have control on it. What we see here is the sort of like, this is the shadow side, this is the light side. So it's saying I'm taking accountability and ownership over that. The good news here is with the Knight of Coins here coming through in the recent past, 10 of Cups, a celebratory card, Ace of Cups, a new corner, a new page. We see you heading in the right direction, okay? It just requires action and communication to bring it to the finish line. And that's pretty much everything here when we're looking at health and well-being. The only other thing that I see right now is concentration and focus. Some of you may just have too many people, again, vying for your time. You may have something that's really stressing you out. So you could benefit from therapy, from some sort of a diversion or outlet for all of this. It comes across as just mental baggage. So however you want to unpack that mental baggage, that's what I see as being really beneficial and helping you embrace the 2 aces that are topping this spread. Let's not lose path or track of that, basically. Some of you are just at a fork in the road and you get to choose between these choices. So clear your mind, clear out any sort of baggage that you might be holding on to, whether it's emotional, financial, or material. And once you free yourself of that, think of the butterfly, you're free to go in either direction here. And that's a beautiful segue to take us into the energy of wealth. We have a reverse card here, so let me just take off the graphic, pull it up right, and let's talk about it. It says, celebrate the sacred gap. Give thanks for the buffer time. Some of you may find yourself in a hanged man moment where you're thinking, I just want it to go faster, or temperance reversed. And the universe is saying slow and steady. Think of the Nine of Pentacles when that little snail is at the bottom. So take your time, take a deep breath, recalibrate. And in this extra time that you have a chance to follow your instincts, read up on everything, make sure that you're not agreeing to something that you don't want to, taking a look and making sure that you have enough for whatever this next phase, journey, or opportunity might be. And also take a time to just recalibrate, especially if you've had a really busy social or work calendar, and say, you know what, I'm just going to take a week. Some of you are overdue for a break. So this card is just validating that it's time now to focus on your needs. And in doing so, this is going to set you up for success. Okay, let's read this now in 3 different main trajectories. We're going to look at those that have a job, those that are seeking a job, and those that are not really focused on employment at the moment. For those that currently have a job, the number one thing that we see at the center of the spread is either necessary change, or because of the catalyst, an understanding that you don't want to be stuck in something anymore. Either way, there is this epiphany that something doesn't serve you and something else does. Again, I highlighted this earlier, but just speaking up can be all that it takes sometimes to create action. If we take this as a 3-part things, like a triptych, you've done the work, change is inevitable, they may just be waiting for you to ask for it, and then we see support here in the form of the 10 of Cups, but resistance possibly to put yourself out there. I feel like you're in a good position because this page equals 2 aces. You might have more opportunities in front of you than you thought. If you don't get what you need where you're at, let's say they're just making up excuses here. We don't have the money, we don't have the overhead, etc., whatever it is, then I think it's a really good time to shop and see what other options are out there, because somebody does want what you have to offer. Find it, and then you know what? I'm going to remind people of something. The devil you know is still a devil. So if you didn't get what you needed where you're at and you find something better, it's probably better to take the new option than to stay. Because if you have to threaten leaving to get the attention or the support that you so deserve, how do you know that that won't be a problem down the line? And also, what might it take to restore faith that you're not going to look for something in the future? It's kind of fragmented now. I don't think you should have to go to the effort of leveraging one offer against another in order to get what you want. So this is a wake-up call. Either what you have is good and you're okay with it, or if you feel stuck, it might be time to find something and take that offer. I won't tell you what to do, but I will encourage you to really think why it took so much sometimes to wake someone up. So fear shouldn't have to be a negotiation tactic. So there we go with that. I'll leave it at that for you to consider. There may also be some contractual obligations that you have to fulfill first. So look at what you agreed to do, pay your debts, do what you have to do, and then if you need to liberate yourself after that, go for it. So that's what I see here is speaking a new change into existence, understanding that some limits may be beyond what the current opportunity affords. And then if that's the case, then finding it elsewhere, okay? The good news here is it is a time to get unstuck, a time to understand what you need to do to get to the next level, and a chance to embrace it. For some of you, it's going to be just as easy as speaking up. For others, you might have to look elsewhere. But no matter what, I see opportunity knocking, and I see you getting a handle on whatever it is that you want to see change. So that's pretty cool, folks. The only thing that's coming through again for some of you that could be creating stagnation is a lack of clarity. If you don't know what you want, it's hard for not just the universe, but in this case, a boss or a corporation to come through on your growth options, right? So there we go. Some of you simply want to do your own thing, and you're having a hard time maybe taking sort of like feedback or orders, marching orders from someone, and then that's just basically the understanding that you want to head more in a self-employment direction. But that's a very small subsection. The main thing here is just a lack of follow through, maybe from someone else, a lack of accountability, or maybe just a fear to speak up against something. But when you do sort of like speak something into existence, again, I see options knocking. Let's move on now to those that are job seeking. Be very, very mindful of what you're signing. With this energy coming through, if an offer is not good enough, say no. If you feel like you need to have a lawyer look at it, please do. There's something about the Devil card that isn't what it seems. So I think it's really good to sleep on any major decision, to get a second set of eyes on something, and to trust your instincts. And don't be afraid to speak up whenever something doesn't sound right. Say, wait a second, what was that? Or didn't we agree to this? Call attention to it. Keep others accountable and make sure that they're meeting their end of the bargain as well. That being said, when you're looking for new opportunities, it could come from a word of mouth from friends and family. This is someone that you know. So we see a change in an opportunity coming directly from the mouth or from the email of someone that you know. So definitely talk around to folks that are in your personal network, your friend network, and possibly even friends and family as well. Or family, I should say, as well, since we talked about friends. I like your opportunities here for more growth. And I think when it comes to negotiating, again, make sure that you're not shy. Make sure that you're not afraid to speak up for what it is that you need. A couple of rounds can get you to what you're looking for. Don't accept the first offer on the table. I think that's the last thing that I want to call attention to. If you're seeing stagnation, one thing that you might want to do here is there may be a need for some of you to reach out, and it's kind of used to be called like a cold application. So one of the best jobs that I got was one of the first big ones, and I did it by sending an email to someone who wasn't advertising for a job. I saw that there was a need in the industry or in their sort of company, and I said, I think you might need this specialty. This is what I do. Is this something that you're hiring for? And because I'm intuitive, I guess I was perfectly landing on that. And the person said, I don't know how you knew this, but we are going to be interviewing and we haven't listed the job. Do you want to come in and talk? And I did, and I landed it, and they never advertised it because I actually beat them to the punch. So sometimes you can anticipate a need and put yourself out there. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it's worth it. So don't be afraid to do that if that resonates for you. Shifting the focus now to those that are really not focusing so much on trying to find work. That could be students and retired folks. Let's look at that right now. If you are a student, there may be a desire to go in a different path. The death card is invariably changing your major. Also maybe taking a break. So for those of you that may just have graduated or you're on the precipice of doing that because we're at the beginning of the year, you may do what I did. So between my undergraduate and graduate experience, I decided to take a non-credit internship. So I went to the UK. I decided to work for a big company. I wanted to see if I liked what I went to school for. And I'm like, I want this 6 months to myself. I'm going to take an internship. There's no pressure. It's not credit earning, or I'm earning credits, but it's not going to transfer. I just did it because I wanted to. And I wanted to go to another country. I wanted to see, maybe I want to work or live somewhere else. I'm so happy I did that because in that period of time, I knew that I didn't want to do the path that I just took. And instead, I wanted to explore something else. So I sent applications to a different set of schools. They liked the fact that I was overseas. I got more options because I did it. And when I went back to the States afterwards, I was really ready. And I felt like I had this new clarity that it wasn't like a vacation, but it definitely was a shift. And I had a chance to get out of just going to school. I worked for a bit and I was ready to get back to school when I did. So sometimes I think taking a break, a semester, can really help. So whether it is an internship or just a break to travel, that could be something that really benefits some of you because you might just be burned out a little bit here and you may not know what you want to do next. So take a moment to recalibrate. This is a change card, and this can be a card of exploring the options. So I'm all for that. If you're retired, same thing is going on here. Some of you feel the need to pull back from family. So whether students or retired, it's the same sort of energy. It's saying, I don't need the pressure. I need a change in my life. I don't want you telling me what to do. I want to focus on perhaps just simply artistic or expressive endeavors. I may want to really focus on taking care of myself and pulling back from supporting everyone else around me. So I get this very, very sort of like supportive and investing energy. So I'm all for you deciding to do something just because. Maybe auditing or taking a class, not for credit. Again, this can also be seniors or retired people or people that are unemployed. You're just saying, I want to focus on doing something because it feels right and it gives me confidence and it gives me a sense of stability. So this is all of that. It's taking a class or doing something artistic or traveling, and in doing so, getting out of the old pattern that didn't really sort of serve or suit you and saying, let's try this instead. Let's see how I feel after a week, a month, or a year, and see where you're at after that. You don't have to make any major decisions other than a change, saying, I need a change from this, let's explore this, and let's see how it feels for a while, okay? And that's what I'm getting there. Some of you are also thinking, what am I going to do with the time that's in front of me? Because the death card is an understanding of mortality, and maybe there could be an actual sort of, some of you may have lost someone or have just decided to cut ties with something, and you think, I really want to make sure that everything I do from this step forward is bringing me joy, the steps to joy. So your new sort of, if we were looking at scales, the scales or the rubric that you're using to make a decision is, does this bring me closer to fulfillment and joy? And if it doesn't, why am I doing it? Because life is finite and I shouldn't be wasting effort on things that don't matter. So it's just clarifying things and saying, you deserve to be happy now more than ever. And that is a nice way to take a look now at love, which is all aspects of relationships. We have a beautiful energy coming through in this one, and it says crown chakra upgrade. The card was reversed. It's just saying spirit's coming down and saying, wake up. It's time to wake up, which is what I actually received as my own upgrade a couple of weeks ago. It says divine connection, holy experiences, and miraculous energy. Believe in the power of miracles. Believe that you have the capacity to overcome any block and open yourself up. This could be blocks in relationship, but this could also be any aspect of your life, and it comes from loving yourself. So the first and most important relationship, and that's where we're at right now, is the one that we have with ourselves. The most important thing when it comes to pulling in relationships and opportunities is self-love, self-respect, and self-confidence, and they all come together and help you achieve this Ace of Pentacles here in the outcome. So really focus on that, healing the sense of self-worth. That is the foundation, the bedrock of everything this month. All right, as promised, let's take a look at 3 different categories: those in a relationship, those seeking love, or those happily single. If you're in a relationship, the name of the game this month is change. The biggest challenge is stagnation. So as long as you're willing to lean into change, then you can grow and go in new directions. So we have 10 of Cups, Ace of Swords, and Ace of Pentacles. Lots of options in front of you. Sometimes there's just fear of letting go. That actually is the devil. The devil's biggest fear is freedom and honesty and integrity. So as long as you act with freedom, honesty, and integrity, you've got nothing to hold you back. You've got nothing to be afraid of. So face your fears, speak up, and give each other the freedom to decide and to move in the direction that you need to. This can be positive change, like we said before. So if you're moving in together, it makes a lot of sense here because we have the Knight of Coins here and the Ace of Coins coming together. We have a Page of Swords and the Ace of Swords. It's the combining of 2 different approaches, 2 different resources. 10 of Cups can be love and marriage. And so it's just a change, folks. And in doing so, there's compromise. So this is a month where compromise is going to also be important. It's not all or nothing. There has to be a middle ground. The key to success is love, and we do have that spark of love here with the Queen of Cups. Just as we highlighted at the very beginning with the King of Cups energy, you don't have to try to be everything to everyone, nor do you have to sort of splinter yourself into different versions. This is a time for integration, and people will either take it or leave it. If they put conditions on who you need to be, then they're revealing themselves as the devil. But as we really look at what the spread has to offer here, we saw the Ten of Cups coming through. And that's really what I see as an opportunity here, is when you allow yourself to just be who you are and integrate, then others can love and support that. And that might be the only thing holding this card back from being upright, is the fear of rejection. Give people more credit. This is actually really, really powerful. If there's something pivotal that you need to do, rather than holding back, which is what the devil wants, come forth and lean into the love and support of the people around you. Give them credit and give them the opportunity to be more than they were before. And if they fall, let them fall. But who knows, maybe they're going to rise to the occasion and actually have your back and surprise you and surpass expectations. You never know until you try. And even if they fail at the beginning to accept, to embrace, or to understand what it is that you need from them, they may come around in the long haul. So this is about letting people rise to the occasion. Give them that opportunity. And give yourself also the freedom from having to carry the burden alone, whatever it is that you might be dealing with, okay? Some of you needed to hear that. I do think it's important this month to talk about finances. So if you're in a loving relationship and there's some things that need to change, speak up, work together. Two heads are better than one. And it does feel like there are some areas where some change has to happen in spending habits, or maybe some investments need to be moved around, etc. Overall, I do think you're moving out of this toward this, which is good. So unconditional love, honesty, transparency, and as we talked about at great length already, integration. Let's shift the focus now to those that are seeking love, and let's reset it looking at this oracle card here. Divine connection, holy experiences, miraculous energy. This is saying this is a moment in time where we're not going to fixate on the past. The devil energy is in the past. It is showing up as a representation of you, but it's not the outcome. It's saying, let's move beyond the feeling like I always have bad luck with this, or I never find this. We're going to erase that track and say, I'm overcoming my challenges with this, and I'm ready for love and abundance in the highest forms. This card is so bright, it's hard for the camera to pick up on it. This is your energy. This is your potential. Also, by the way, these activities, maybe it's something spiritual, maybe it's you working your life path. That is the magnet that comes through as the Ten of Cups, which we were talking about just a couple moments ago here. So by connecting with something that you love, people take note of that. Let's see what's going on for those that are seeking love. The most important thing for you is to untether yourself. There may be a relationship that you're getting out of. There may be a job that's tying you up. There may be a habit in your life that doesn't serve or suit you. Free yourself of that first. If there's a limiting thought, I just talked about those, you're going to reprogram them and say, I am open to change. I'm no longer beholden to the pattern that once held me back or anchored me down, okay? So that's one thing that I'm picking up on. The other thing for some of you is just allowing a necessary change to take place, or dealing with a loss that has just happened. The change, the loss, the movement has to first sort of settle so that you have room for the foundations of this new love or relationship to come through. With the Queen of Cups coming through in the environment, the good news is love is ready. Love is knocking on the door, actually. And it could be a water sign, like a fellow Pisces. It could also be Cancer or Scorpio. Or it could just be someone that's really kind and has that integrated energy, which we talked about much earlier. There is an interesting sort of tug of war, though, between the commitment that is the Ten of Cups and the sort of conditional or restrictive energy that is the devil. So one or both of you may be convincing yourselves that you're ready, but there may be a little bit of inner healing to do. So my advice for those that are seeking and also find this love is to take your time. This is the one area where you want to slow down and get to know the person. Whatever's here will come out. Whatever it is you can deal with. And it's just important to give this time to reveal itself. For some of you, it's just fear. And if you already know that, then you can disregard that. But if there is this weird sense of rushing to the finish line, then Spirit is just saying, pump the brakes a little bit and take some time. Ten of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles can actually be pregnancy and starting a family. So some of you may just have that biological clock ticking. Just make sure, though, that if it's not the biological clock and it's more pressure, pressure from family, or pressure from your own sort of arbitrary deadlines, that you don't allow that to push you into something before you or the other party is ready. You want to make sure, especially when you're bringing new life into the equation, that both parties are in it for the long haul, okay? So I just want to highlight that. And by the way, because this is a pregnancy card, whether it's existing love, new love, or those that are single, that's just something to be mindful of. Okay, let's see what else is going on in those that are seeking love. The main thing here with the Seven of Cups is just to be very clear on expectations when dating someone, but also on what you're trying to find when you're talking to the universe and seeking options. We do see someone from the past, by the way, that could also be coming back. Maybe it didn't work before and they're texting you or whatever. Just make sure that they're also clear on what they're expecting and what you're expecting, because this may not be delivering on everything that it's supposed to be. So again, taking your time this month is so important. And that's all I have to say for those that are looking for love. Let's go ahead now and shift the focus to those that are happily single. Back to the very beginning here, we talked about the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. This is a chance to ask yourself, what do I really want to do next in my life? For many of you, you're starting to speak out, and this voice, this vision is actually, and kind of working that path. We talked about, this divinity card here. So if you start to work on something where it's your divine path, your network is going to multiply. So you may not be looking for love, but what I do see is a widening personal network. So new people knocking on the door saying, hey, I could use your advice on this, or I'm interested in having you speak at this event. So for those, because we're looking at love, not employment. If you're working, what's happening here is some of you may be asked to put together a book or a curriculum or a seminar or a presentation, and we see a lot of buy-in on this. There's resistance, but I see all of this great opportunity here for you to actually go into the spotlight. So because you're not focusing so much on love, there's a lot of personal development, career development, and expansion of network this month. So however you want to kind of embrace that, it's good. The main thing here, though, is to work on healing, health, and self-confidence, because that's the only thing that's going to hold anybody back in any of the expanded forecast. Because you have a little bit more time and energy, definitely put the healing power there, okay? Let's take a look now at your destiny card. This is your overall trajectory, and this is something that I highlighted at the very beginning. Things are not what they seem. There may be something where you think, I've tried it all, but then you look over here or you think about it again and you think, but I didn't try that. That's what you want to go for. Adjacent opportunities. We see a door on the floor here. So this is also reminding me of just like, look at your old emails, look at your old files, reach out to someone that you meant to talk to. These random connections and associations may bring forth exactly the opportunity that you were looking for, or the one that you didn't know that you needed until it landed in your lap. So there are so many things that could be opening up in the entire expanded forecast: health, wealth, and love. So all of these things are knocking, but the door is not where you expect it. We talk about this in the Three of Wands sometimes. You have to be looking at the horizon to see the ships coming in. Something's closer than you think. Let's move on now to the sun, rising, and moon sign messages and see what else is in store. Sun, rising, and moon. All right, in the sun sign, we have the Eight of Pentacles reversed. This is reminding you that it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be a long walk. This is a tesseract that he's building here, like a hypercube. And if you ever look at the movie A Wrinkle in Time, specifically if you read the book, they'll show you a string and the two ends are brought together representing a tesseract, which means instead of having to go the long distance, you can just jump straight from point A to point B. Something's getting easier. The opportunity for growth or development is just like this adjacent possibilities. There's the new door or new portal opening up to you that will allow you to achieve what you want without as much effort. Maybe there's a smarter way to work. Maybe your research, because typically Eight of Pentacles is about learning. So maybe you can lean on your skills or your research and you think, oh, I remember this. I remember reading about it. I remember studying it. And you can put it to practice. So the main message here is that things are going to pick up. The pace is going to pick up. There's a more efficient way to get something done. And you are right at the precipice of entering a portal of growth or opportunity. And again, it is really nicely aligned with this. Don't be afraid to look in all directions. That cube has a lot of different sides, and it's going to help you get from point A to point B faster. So this is also underlining the importance and the value of training, education, reading, and researching, because you're going to figure something out by doing that, and it's going to help you also get unstuck. So all things are coming together really nicely for Pisces Sun. It's a good month. It's a great time if you do want to put your energy into something. Eight of Pentacles represents a return on that, okay? Moving from sun sign messages to rising, you got the Tower in reverse. I mentioned at the beginning that I prefer death to the Tower. I'll put an asterisk with that. A Tower reversed gives you a lot of control. Think of this, I talk about this as an analogous example, but for those of you that enjoy surfing, you know what I'm talking about. You could just stand at the shore and let the wave hit you, or you can meet it out where it's starting to form and ride that energy, that frequency, all the way to the beach. And you can travel the distance and hopefully land on your feet. And that's really what this is about. So examples of a Tower reversed energy and approach. There's a new boss at work. Rather than waiting and wondering what could happen with this new change of management, you schedule a meeting and you talk about your aspirations, or you get to know them. And they see you now without the baggage of the previous kind of boss, and you have a chance now to land in a new position. This can also be for those of you that may, just be exiting a major event in your life. So maybe getting divorced, maybe just graduating, and you're finding yourself in uncharted territory. You can talk to people. You can actually really have fun with ambiguity and think, well, what if I try this? What if I do this? By embracing the fact that something has come to pass, this is really complementary energy, death leading into Tower reversed. This is happening, and I'm going to now do something with it. It's picking up the pieces and rebuilding. So all you have to do is become a part of the shifting energy, and then you find power, opportunity, and adjacent possibilities. So they're all tied together. They're just different ways of looking at it. For rising and ascendant, there is a need to kind of wrap your head around it a bit more and just make peace with the change, okay? Moving on to moon sign, we have the Four of Wands. This could represent a really favorable partnership that's coming through. New love, a new best friend, a nice firm foundation for business, or just general personal development that's going to take you the distance. I love that this is on the beach, by the way. So for some of you, you've already been through the big pivotal changes and shifts, and now you get to celebrate, and now you get to make something really great for this month ahead. But the Four of Wands can be the kind of partnership or friendship that will last through thick and through thin. So if you have a chance to lean into that, please, by all means, do that. This is a month to network, to get out there, because this is really, really good people energy, partnership energy, and life energy in general. All right, let's bring it now to the final question. This is your chance to ask anything that I've had yet to cover here, but might still be on your mind. So just form that question in your head, and let's see what Spirit has to say. All right, we have a Hierophant. The Hierophant is in reverse. When reversed, this card represents going counter to what's expected, breaking down old structures, creating something that is yours and yours alone. We have a box here, and again, thinking outside of the box is really what the invitation is here. And when we looked at that tesseract that came through, this is a chance for you really to say, I might have a better way to do this than what has been done before. Very entrepreneurial because it's reversed. It's also reminding us that age and experience aren't everything. You can be young and have experience beyond your years. You can be working with someone that should know better but doesn't. So this is a chance to look beyond the facade of age and titles and all of that and say, let's just create something that really matters with people that are really on the same page, particularly for those of you that are looking for business or love, and let go of labels. You're never too young, you're never too old. And the last thing here is, again, this resistance to being bossed around. I get this feisty energy that's coming through, so some of you really just want a chance to prove that you can do it. As a yes or no, it's a yes with a caveat. It's saying yes, but you may have to work through one hoop or gatekeeper or approval process. I mentioned earlier this might take a couple of attempts because this person is stubborn and may have some of those preconceived notions around age or title or things of that nature. So you're going to come forward and put your best foot forward and do what you can. And if you're not getting what you need there, someone else will be interested. There is a door that's opening. Just remember to look in different directions and keep an open heart and an open mind. That brings this reading to a close. So if you enjoyed this, do me a favor, like, subscribe, and share this if you will. It helps the channel grow and it helps me know that you enjoyed it. You can also follow me on social media. Really focus there on the name. There's no extra characters. Right now on TikTok, someone's putting a period or an underscore before my name, and that's not me. So always make sure that you're looking at the spelling, and when in doubt, go to my website. They're all listed there, and you can make sure that you're looking at the right account. You can also take a look at the main page here on YouTube, on my channel page, and you'll see them there. One good way to spot a fake as well is just to remember, I don't offer private readings. I'm not going to message you. And also, if you see a very small follower account or the videos don't kind of make sense chronologically, you know it's someone else. So be smart, be safe, and thank you for doing that. If you'd like to show love and support, you can do it right here on YouTube through super stickers, super chat, memberships, and all of that, like I said, helps. It's optional, but I do appreciate it. And that, my friends, is everything. Thanks for your love, your support, and for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. Wishing you all the best.